Company of Milwaukee. Trump ran hard on jobs over the campaign, but is he at risk of going astray on Obamacare? David Kuhn joins us now from New York. Mr. Kuhn, thanks for joining us. So you wrote a really interesting piece about Obama's trouble with Obamacare, and you said basically he squandered his executive capital, his political capital, very early in his 2 terms and was unable to really do much after that. And you're concerned as an observer that this administration might be making the same mistake. Am I characterizing that right?
That's right. Almost every president is overconfident when they assume the office, as they learn too late political capital is a finite resource. President Obama, when he was a candidate, first earned a majority of support after the stock market crashed. So the economic crisis made his majority, made his mandate, and he quickly moved to health care. He threw his political weight into health care, and that was a central mistake of his presidency. That was, of course, the worst economic crisis in 8 decades, and President Obama pushed to expand the social safety net at a time when Americans worried about paying their bills and keeping their jobs. Now we turn to Donald Trump. What is the most central point, the most central characteristic of Donald Trump's brand? Jobs, keeping jobs. Not only does polling show that Trump supporters overwhelmingly, 94% in the Wall Street Journal poll, view jobs, keeping jobs in the United States as the top priority, but it's critical to independents' view of Trump. And if Donald Trump wants to stay true to his base and brand, if Donald Trump wants to utilize this brief period in a presidency where you not only have political capital, but where you can get more change done, I think he should take on the issue of that's true to his brand and to this time, if you will. I
think that's right. As someone who's already said basically he's comfortable with expanding entitlements, or at least preserving them. Really quickly, what does he do if your main goal is to address jobs, job growth, unemployment, persistent unemployment? What's your move? How do you do that?
I mean, okay, so that's a question. So obviously, first you have to balance your constituencies. So Donald Trump has to balance the fact that he has a free market Republican orthodoxy that's his allies, and that he has a Democratic Party that's for and it supports great infrastructure spending. And of course, every fight we've had thus far has sort of separated the parties along conventional partisan lines. For Donald Trump, he really has to sort of buck both party orthodoxies, right? There's a Republican conventional Republican Party that will never back any spending measure that Donald Trump pushes forward. And there's a hard left that will never back anything that has Donald Trump's name on it. Because, of course, they believe in pure obstruction because they're so offended regarding his policies. What Donald Trump has to do is he has to cobble a coalition within both parties, and he could, if he pushed it now,
I think that's right.
That basically pushes forward large infrastructure spending that focuses on jobs and construction and the very people that made his presidency.
I think you're exactly right. It's there. David Paul Kuhn, DPK, great to see you.
Thanks for having me.
Up next, a professor at Georgetown says white people shouldn't just have savings accounts, they should have reparations accounts so they can repay black Americans for racism. He joins us next to explain what he means.